Chapter 1. Our key thought here is, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. In the first verse, Solomon is giving credit to his dad. He's letting us know that his father is an important man. Solomon was proud of his father David and teaches throughout the book of Proverbs that we should honor our father and our mother. It's an important point. Verse 2. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. Here Solomon gets right to the point of why he put together the book of Proverbs. Knowing wisdom is at a higher level than thinking you know. He also wants us to know instruction, which is how we get the knowledge to make wise decisions. As we progress through Proverbs, you'll find that wise men are eager to learn and know that in order to climb up a ladder of wisdom, they need instruction. Interesting that understanding must be perceived. What's the difference between wisdom and understanding? Wisdom is an action, understanding is a realization, and knowledge is a fact. Memorize this. Taking a business class at USC is instruction designed to give you knowledge, like what the ratio of debt to income a company should have to be a good stock value. That's a fact which we're going to define as knowledge. Understanding would be realizing that based on the company's history, like Apple, the best time to purchase stock is right after the announcement of a new product you believe will take off like a rocket. Wisdom is an action, buying the stock. Until you buy the stock, you just know facts and have an understanding of when to buy. Without purchasing the stock, you haven't exercised any wisdom. A wise man knows when to strike. Verse 3. To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise, and their dark sayings. Verses 2 through 6 explain the reason why Solomon put together the book of Proverbs. He wants to educate men, but is especially gearing Proverbs towards educating young men. Reading what the Bible doesn't say, a wise man will hear and increase learning, but a fool might hear and not learn a darn thing. And men that have understanding are eager to listen to the people that have the wisdom they want. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Verse 7. It's a key verse. Verse 7 tells us how to start obtaining the knowledge to make good decisions. Fear God. This is code for being seriously afraid of incurring the wrath of your Creator. It doesn't just mean respect. We're talking fear. Verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. Verses 8 and 9 lay down an important truth. Our parents have valuable insight in life, and if they give us instruction, we should listen to it. Interesting that this is the first nugget of wisdom Solomon presents. He was quite aware of the wisdom passed down to him from his father David. Solomon knew that God was the source of his wisdom, but he also realized that God could give him wisdom through people, especially through parents. Verse 10, My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Solomon realized that in this game of life, other people will be trying to convince us to get ahead by murdering innocent people and taking their belongings. His advice, just say no. He's quick to point out that these people are setting a trap for themselves. In verse 11 it says, If they say, Come with us, let us lay wait for blood, let us look privily for the innocent without cause, let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those that go down to the pit. We shall find all precious substance, we shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us, let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread on the side of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of every one that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Anyone that knows about Deuteronomy 28 and has a healthy fear of the consequences of going against God's commandments would know better than to team up with wicked people. Solomon shows his sense of humor in verse 17. Even the dumbest birds wouldn't get caught in a trap they saw being prepared for them. But wicked people are even dumber. They don't realize that by their wicked actions, they're laying an inescapable trap for themselves with no way out. They think they're getting away with it, but instead of lying in wait for their prey, they're lying in wait for themselves. Verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates, in the city. She uttereth her words, saying, How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Wisdom offers her help and expects us to take us up on her offer. Solomon lets us in on the fact that she is actively soliciting for men to follow her direction. She wants us to become wise. She has a genuine interest in sharing herself with us. Interesting that this is the only reference to a female spirit in the Bible. It's also noteworthy that God chose a female spirit to be the one to whom men must go to obtain wisdom. Keep this in mind the next time your wife or girlfriend gives you some advice. Verses 24 to 33 explain why wisdom is one female spirit you don't want to cross. Verse 24, Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. If you don't answer the invitation to this party, you're going to get the full fury of a female that can squash you like a bug on the sidewalk. You know what they say, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. We either get wisdom's blessing or her wrath, the brass ring or the brass knuckle. When wisdom calls, you need to answer. When wisdom stretches out her hand, you need to take it. When wisdom gives you advice or counsel, you need to listen. When wisdom sends someone to reprove you, you need to humbly embrace it. When knowledge comes your way, you need to grasp it. There's only two sides to the coin of wisdom. You either accept and welcome her and get blessed, or you reject her and get screwed. There's no middle ground. Welcome wisdom and enjoy a blessed life. Reject wisdom and she takes your sense of reason away from you, then watches laughing as your life falls apart. Reject wisdom like the drunk on the title pick, and whatever prosperity and wealth you have will destroy you. You'll be living a life without understanding, making poor decisions, destined to make your life miserable. Later on in Proverbs, Solomon says, in chapter 21, verse 1, The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turns it whithersoever he will. If the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, believe me, so is yours. Just as God can turn your heart and thoughts to make good choices, reject wisdom, and she'll turn your heart and thoughts to make choices that will lead to your downfall. Once again, the message from Deuteronomy 28 is reinforced. Do what God wants, and your life will be better than you could ever imagine. Go against what God says to do, and your life will be worse than you could ever imagine.